If you run more than one business or you're looking to run more than one business, then you know time management is essential because using our time wisely in the most profitable way is going to extend the life of our businesses or make us crash and burn. Now, I run multiple businesses entirely on my own, and I do it in a way that's a little bit different than what most people would think. So when I manage my time, I am blocking off my time differently than most people would assume that I do in order to make sure that I am running the most profitable, most effective businesses I possibly can. So let me break down exactly how I am blocking off my time and how I'm using that time in a strategic way so that you can swipe this too if this is going to work for you. Now keep in mind that we all operate differently, so what works for me may not work for you, but you might find little grains of truth in here that you can apply to your business to find the thing that is going to work for you. And I operate very differently than most people. So most people are going to assume as I'm running two businesses, I am spending half my day on my first business and half my day on my second business. Now, my main businesses here that we're going to be discussing are my author life, so I'm a best-selling fiction author, but I also teach social media marketing strategy for you to help you level up your businesses, and I teach, I speak, I do courses and webinars and all of those things. So two very dramatically different businesses, but I'm actively operating both all of the time, but I'm not splitting my time in half the way that people think. For me, I'm dividing this by projects. So as I'm working on one project, I'm heavily focused on that business and a little bit of the other business. And then when I'm done with this project, then I shift my focus to the other business and put the first business on the back burner a little bit. So let me give you some examples. If I'm writing a novel, then I'm spending the majority of my days writing my novels. That is, the vast majority of the hours in the day are dedicated to working on that book. The rest of my time is maintenance time on my other businesses. It is the bare minimum to survive in that business and to make sure that I'm active and present, which means I am writing my book, but I'm also showing up on social media. I'm doing a little bit of marketing and making sure that I answer people and I'm showing my face in this realm, but it's not the majority of my time and effort. It is maintenance. Now, when I'm done writing that novel, I bounce back over to my social media business and I'll create a new course or I'll do some heavy lifting inside of this business. And then in my author world, I'm just showing up. I'll do a live stream every once in a while. I'll be posting on social media. I'll market the books a little bit, but I'm not doing the heavy lifting in this business. So I am taking this project by project. And because I know from past experience how long each project is going to take, I can then manage it. But then because I understand how much time I'm going to be dedicating to writing a book or creating a course or doing something else, I can then rearrange the rest of my work to make sure it's covered so I don't have to spend a ton of time and effort on it. And that breaks down to doing a little bit of prep work. So that means I am going to be filming my TikToks and my Reels. I'm going to be pre-filming my YouTube videos. I'm going to be creating my content in a batch format so that I have it ready to go, so that while I'm writing a novel, I don't have to also be recording YouTube videos. In fact, today, as I'm recording this video, I am preparing to step into a novel writing session. I can write a full-length novel in 9.5 days, which is not normal. Please do not think that that is a normal rate for most writers. But I know that if I spend 2 weeks heavily involved in my book world, I also have to be present in my social media education world. So I am filming my TikToks and Reels. I am creating my YouTube videos. I am getting ready to do all the marketing, and I'm getting any articles ready. I'm making sure I do kind of the easy work so that I can just put it out and then be present inside of my social media education business while I'm busy writing this novel. So I'll spend maybe an hour a day on my business over here where I'm teaching social media education and hanging out with you, and then I'll spend the rest of those hours working on the book. Now, then I will be able to flip that when I'm done with that novel to go over to creating a new course. I'll spend a week creating a new course, or a few days or a few weeks creating a new business or a new course within that, or do something inside of that umbrella, and I'll just do a little bit of work over inside of my book life. This way, I am heavily invested in what I'm doing, and because I'm heavily invested in that one thing, I can stay in the mindset. So I'm not bouncing back and forth. I do not work well in small periods of time for different projects and then spacing them out. You've heard me give examples before of being on the beach and having holes in the sand and then filling in those holes so that little kids didn't fall in the holes in the sand. And if you take one scoop of sand and put it in one hole and then in another hole and then in another hole, you're slowly building up those holes or those projects that you're working on, but it takes a lot longer to fill everything in. If, however, you spend your time and effort just dumping the majority of that into one hole, you've now covered that hole or finished that project and you can move on to the next. It's one less thing that you have to worry about. So for me, I very much like staying inside of the mindset of the project I'm working on. So I block off my time by project and I focus on one area, and then I'll give maintenance time to the other things to make sure that one project is getting done and off my plate and out into the world so I can then make money off of it and then focus on the next. Because I'm able to stay in that mindset, I save a lot of time and effort. This is an example I've given to you in other videos before where we talked about how I was at one point standing up and manually turning on and off my lights and unplugging things, and it actually took a full hour of my week just standing up to turn on my ring lights so that I could film videos for my Instagram stories. Now, when I looped all those things into one single cord where I could just hit one button and I didn't have to stand up and sit down all the time, I saved myself that full hour of time. So with something like this, I am now bringing all of my time and effort into one area, and I no longer have to get in and out of the mindset every single day. So if I were to split my days into halves, it would be half being in the book world and half being in the social media education world, and I had to get into that mindset, then get out of that mindset, then get into the other mindset, then get out of the other mindset. And every day I would be going back and forth between these instead of just focusing in on one thing. So I prepare my content in advance for the maintenance that I'm going to be doing in the other business, and then I can stay focused and very strongly designed in one specific area so that I can get that done quickly and faster. And this is incredibly helpful because now I'm not forgetting what I've already done. While I'm focused on one project, I can stay in that mindset. So if I'm writing a novel, I don't have to go back and see what I wrote before because I always stayed in that lane. I stayed very focused on that, so I'm not wasting time. If I was creating a course, I already know what I filmed, what I've done, where I've designed things, and I don't have to go back and waste time figuring out where I left off because I stayed in that mindset. So as I'm doing this, I am preparing for when I am taking off these blocked project times. And don't get me wrong, these blocks of project time are not every other week or not every 2 weeks. There are times when I am actively dividing my time between my businesses because I can. But when I have these big projects, I then set aside a week or 2 weeks to work on that one specific project. And before that period of time starts where I am heavily invested into one thing, I am preparing the other business as if I were going on vacation, which we have videos on how to do here on the YouTube channel. So I am preparing as if I'm stepping away from it and I'm just doing that maintenance work to make sure I'm showing up and I'm active and I'm engaged in that business so that people who are facing the outward side of things are seeing me actively involved. So this pertains specifically to the things I'm doing behind the scenes, and I'm getting those things ready so that I don't have to stress about them while I'm heavily focused on one project. So as you're creating your businesses or as you're figuring out what you're doing, look at what's most important to accomplish. Do you have a time frame you need to get that done in? Now you can build the rest of your work around that project. So you know how long this is going to take, or you have a relatively good idea, and you're going to then be able to block off that period of time and just do maintenance work and show up work inside of those other businesses so that people are actively involved and they can see that you're working on it, but you can heavily focus on one area to be better, faster, and stronger at getting that accomplished. Now in the next video, I am going to be breaking down exactly what my days look like when I'm doing these projects. So I'll be breaking down how I'm structuring my day to make sure that I'm showing up for that maintenance time on my other business and for the heavily involved project time inside of whatever is the main business that particular week. I'm going to be breaking this down so that you can swipe these ideas as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell so you do not miss out. If you have questions on this, go ahead and let me know. If something else works for you in your business, please by all means get in my comments and let me know how you structure your day so that people who didn't resonate with what I do might be able to resonate with what you do so that we can all grow and become more profitable inside of our businesses. We drop daily videos here so that you can level up on your TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, live streaming, and the tools and resources you're going to be using to create more profit inside of your business without having to spend a ton of time and effort on your social media, so you can get back to running your business and living your best life. I'll see you in the next episode.